Hey everyone, Tech Steve here. Today we're going to do a battle between three budget televisions from Samsung. All the models are 43-inch and we're going to compare which one is going to give you the best picture quality for the price. The first TV we have is the 43-inch TU690T. Here in the United States it retails for $289.99 and it has features like its 60 Hz native, the Crystal processor 4K, it's direct lit, and it does have a VA panel and some HDR outputs. Next, we have the 43-inch AU8000, which retails for $379, which is an increase of $90. You're still going to get the 60 Hz native rate, the Crystal processor 4K. Now, this one is edge lit, and it does come with a VA panel. And next, we have the Samsung 43-inch Q60B, which retails for $549. Now, this model is still 60 Hz, but it introduced Quantum processor 4K Lite. It's an edge lit panel. It supports your HDR10 adaptive, the Quantum HDR, plus this one has dual backlights to supposedly give you better colors. Now when it comes to connection, I would tell you that the TU690T only has 2 HDMI inputs, but the other 2 units has 3, and again, all of them runs at 60 Hz. Here's all the different sizes available for each model, and you can see that the Q60B has all types of different sizes to fit most people's applications, whether you have a stand, put it in a nook, or mount it on the wall. So looking at a contrast test, I think the Q60B looks actually more natural than the other 2 units, even though the AU8000 is much brighter. If you look at the grayscale, they're not as natural as looking as the Q60B. When it comes to the uniformity, all TVs have a little bit of vignetting in the corner, and there's a little bit of dirty screen effect, but not anything to raise any type of alarm. And I also want to show you guys the Starfield test, and I bumped my ISO up to 1600. And the one thing I want to point out is that with that backlight, you can see that the AU8000 is bringing out a lot more of the stars. And when it comes to motion, without going into the settings and changing the judder or anything, just right out of the box, it appears to me that the TU690T has a much smoother picture overall. Now, all these TVs have a technology called Samsung UHD dimming that does actually a really good job in not bringing in any type of extra blooming. And being that they are VA panels helps out a lot. It keeps that backlight from coming in through the panel. We're going to take a look at the viewing angles, and if we go over to the Q60B and we'll put it at an angle, I can see that the AU8000 is actually coming in pretty decent at this angle. But let's go ahead and go to the other side by the TU6090T, and there we go. And here's the viewing angles from the bottom, and I can tell you Samsung does a pretty good job having VA panels in decent viewing angles. Since this studio does get extremely hot sometimes, now I want to show you guys the temperature of each TV to show you what kind of heat that is putting off. First, we're going to check the TU690T, and it's reading about 98.1 degrees. Next, we're going to check the AU8000, and it's at 90.3 degrees. And finally, we're going to check out the Q60B. So it's actually the coolest out of all 3 units. Now for you gamers out there, I will tell you that one of these TVs have a special menu that the other TVs don't have. Let's check it out. Now for this demonstration, all the TVs are in gaming mode and everything's been factory set, so they will be getting the exact same signal. But one thing I wanted to point out, when it comes to the Q60B, if you press and hold down the play pause button, you'll get this gaming pop-up down here, and down at the bottom, you can choose your input lag like fast, faster, or fastest. If you go back, you can also look at your gaming settings, and you have all these different ones right here. And then there's some speaker outputs, your game settings. And one thing I want to point out is that this TV does not have VRR, even though you can see the icon right there.
Guiding light for us all. I became his best pilot, his executioner. My talents and those of other elders were revealed. Who betrayed them?
Never found out.
A power cell. I got one.
Perfect. This Neju tech could power the enclave for years.
Next, we're going to listen to the speakers, and I will tell you that it's hard to pick up on the camera, but in my opinion, the TU690T has the best sound quality out of the three units, and it's because the newer models are a lot thinner, so you don't have as good an audio system, in my opinion.
I hear her heartbeat. She's so close. I hear her heartbeat. She's so close. I hear her heartbeat. She's so close.
So what does her heartbeat sound like?
Now, we're not going to go into the operating system too much, but I will tell you that the TU690T and the AU8000, the software is very similar. You still have an app store, you can surf the internet. Pretty much everything looks the same in both television sets. But what we really want to focus on is the Q60. The biggest thing about the Q60 is now you have this sidebar, and with the sidebar, you have your search, you have the ambient mode, but you have this new gaming center that you don't get on the other operating systems. On all the TVs, you can pair up a controller, but you can see where you can put all your gaming consoles all in this one little spot. And with the Xbox, you can actually stream any of these games over the air as long as you're paying for the full service. Another tab you have is Media, and this is where it goes back into all your apps. But for the most part, everything works identical. The last thing I'll show you guys is the remote control, and this basic one comes with the TU690T. And if you go with the other two models, you get more of the more advanced remote. And the thing about this remote is that it supports voice command. It has Bluetooth in it. Plus, if you go with the Q60T, it has a solar panel to charge it up with a USB input on the bottom. Now, you're probably wondering, out of all the TVs, which one would I personally choose? Well, of course, I'm going to go with the Q60B just because it has all these other features in it. Plus, it is newer and all that good stuff. But if I was just a normal consumer looking for a television and I didn't watch a lot of dark HDR movies, I think still to this day, that's a really good buy. But if you do watch HDR movies, you would definitely want to jump into the AU8000 because of the brightness going to make that HDR movie look much better. But overall, I think all three TVs are amazing when it comes to a good content signal on it. And I hope this helps you out by showing you demos so you can make the best decision for yourself. I'm Tech Steve. Thanks all for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace! And here's some demo footage.